Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret world of your senses. I mean, forget what you learned in grade school, because there's this hidden network inside you constantly working in the background, shaping your reality in ways you've probably never even thought about. So let's get into it. So let me just ask you a question right off the bat. How many senses do you have? I know, it sounds super simple, right? Like we all know the answer to this. But what if that answer you've had in your head your whole life isn't the whole story? Yeah, almost everybody would say 5. Sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. It's been the go-to answer for, about 2,000 years. It's clean, it's simple, and it feels right. But it turns out it's also completely out of date. Modern neuroscience suggests that we have at least 22 distinct senses, and some scientists argue it could be as high as 33, all running at the same time. So what on earth are these hidden senses, and what are they telling us? Well, you can thank Aristotle for that classic 5-sense model. But just like his idea that everything was made of earth, wind, fire, and water, science has moved on. And what it's revealed is a much more complex and honestly way more fascinating picture of what our bodies can do. Okay, so here's the big idea. Our senses really fall into 2 main camps. You've got exteroception, which is what we all think of, our senses gathering info from the world outside our bodies. But then there's this whole other world inside of us, and that's where interoception comes in. You can think of it like your body's own private internal monitoring system. So let's dive into this unseen network. We're going to focus on 3 of the most important internal senses that you are using every single second, probably without ever realizing it. First up is proprioception. This is your body's amazing sense of its own position in space. It's the reason you can walk without staring at your feet, or, bring a cup to your lips without spilling. It's like your brain has this live, constantly updating 3D map of your own body. Next up, nociception. This is your sense of pain. And what's incredible is that pain isn't just touch or heat turned up to 11. Nope. It is its own completely distinct sensory system with its own dedicated receptors designed for one thing, to warn you about potential harm. And finally, we have equilibrioception. This is your sense of balance, and it is truly remarkable. It's all managed by this tiny, intricate system of fluid-filled tubes in your inner ear that act like a biological gyroscope, detecting gravity and every little shift in direction. It's what keeps you upright and moving through the world. So let's go a little deeper on proprioception, because this one is honestly kind of mind-bending. It's something we completely take for granted, but it's like the silent conductor of your body's orchestra, making sure every single movement is smooth and coordinated. And to really understand how critical this sense is, listen to this quote from Ian Waterman. He lost his sense of proprioception from the neck down because of a viral infection. He could still tell his body to move, but without that internal map, he had no idea where his limbs were. He literally had to relearn how to walk by watching his feet and consciously guiding every single step. So how in the world does it work? Well, you have these specialized nerve endings in your muscles and joints called mechanoreceptors, and they're constantly sensing stretch and tension. They act like tiny reporters, converting all that physical data into electrical signals that shoot up to your brain, telling it exactly where every part of you is at any given moment. You can actually feel this sense in action. Go on, try it right now. Close your eyes, and then try to touch your index finger to the tip of your nose. This is the classic sobriety test, and there's a reason it works. It forces your brain to rely entirely on proprioception, on those internal signals, to find your nose without any help from your eyes. Pretty cool, right? But proprioception is just one piece of this much, much bigger internal surveillance system. I mean, think of your body as having this massive dashboard of gauges, all constantly feeding your brain critical information just to keep you alive and well. And the amount of data your brain is juggling is just staggering. You've got stretch receptors that tell you when your lungs or bladder are full. Chemoreceptors are sniffing your blood chemistry, which can trigger things like nausea or thirst. Thermoreceptors are basically an internal thermostat, and baroreceptors keep a constant, careful watch on your blood pressure. They're all your body's silent alarms. And this whole network, this interoception system, it has one absolutely vital job: homeostasis. That's the delicate, constant balancing act of keeping your internal environment stable and healthy. These senses are basically the guardians of your well-being. So you gotta ask, why? Why do we have such an incredibly sophisticated array of senses? Well, the answer, like with so many things, is buried deep in our evolutionary past. This whole system is a survival kit, honed over millions of years for one single purpose: to keep us alive. See, the ancient ancestors of vertebrates, they weren't exactly predators. They were mostly just floating around, passively filter feeding. But as they evolved and became active hunters, everything had to change. All of a sudden, you needed a way more detailed map of not just the world around you, but of your own body if you wanted to catch dinner instead of becoming it. And this right here is a perfect example of that specialization. Your body developed different tools for different threats. You've got one kind of receptor that feels the light pressure of a pin. You've got another that feels the intense heat of a flame. But if either one becomes strong enough to actually damage your tissues, a third system, your pain receptors, the nociceptors, kick in and scream a warning to your brain to get away now. And here's another awesome evolutionary trick. The sensitivity of your skin is not the same everywhere. Your fingertips are jam-packed with receptors, making them incredibly sensitive. Your back, on the other hand, has way fewer spaced far apart. And that makes perfect sense, right? We evolved to explore the world with our hands, not our backs. So, when you put all of this together, it becomes really clear that we need to update our whole idea of what it means to sense the world. The reality of our experience is so much richer and more complex than most of us ever realize. And we've just been scratching the surface here. Your brain is also managing dedicated senses for things like muscle tension, for itch, which is crazily enough its own separate system, for thirst, hunger, even the oxygen levels in your blood. And get this, some studies even suggest we might have a weak, unconscious sense of the Earth's magnetic fields, kind of like birds do. But here's the most important part. You don't experience these dozens of senses one by one. Your brain is a master artist, seamlessly weaving all of them together into one unified experience. Think about the flavor of food. That's not just your taste buds. It's an intricate fusion of taste, the aroma from your sense of smell, and the temperature and texture from your sense of touch, all blended together. Which brings us to the final thought. Right now, as you're sitting here, your body is having thousands of silent conversations. A whole symphony of hidden senses is monitoring you, adjusting you, and literally creating your reality from the inside out. So, just for a second, pause and listen. What is your body telling you right now?